Next, we're going to talk about 6.2, multiplication and division equations. So we're going to solve one-step multiplication and division equations. So we have two definitions that you need to write down, the division property of equality and the multiplication property of equality. These are both very similar to the addition property of equality and subtraction property of equality. It's the same type of process. So go ahead and pause this for a moment and take a moment to copy these down. Okay, copy this down. 20 is equal to 4x. So again, I'm still looking for the same three things I was before. I'm looking for the original equation, which we have here, what we're doing to the equation, and our answer. So if we look at this, here's my variable x. Well, I have this 4 right next to it. What's happening between the 4 and the x? This is a multiplication problem. So what's the opposite of multiplication? It's division. So I'm going to divide both sides by my coefficient, my number in front of my letter. 4 divided by 4 is 1. How do I write 1x? I just write x. You don't need to write the 1 in front of the x. We just write x. So 20 divided by 4 is 5. There's my answer. So x is equal to 5. You can remember, you can swap this and write it like this. Either way works, as long as I have the original problem, you're showing me what you're doing to it, and you get the answer. Copy this down. Negative 8y is equal to 24. So here, I'm going to divide both sides by negative 8, because negative 8y, that's multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division, so I divide both sides by my coefficient to get my variable by itself. So I have y is equal to, because those negative 8's cancel out, 24 divided by negative 8 will give me negative 3. Okay. If you're struggling with your negatives still, plug them into your calculator, please. That'll make it a little bit easier for you. So positive divided by a negative is a negative. So 24 divided by 8 is 3, and it's going to be negative because we only have one negative here. So our answer is going to be negative 3. So this time we're dividing both sides by our coefficient. Copy this down. 39 is equal to 3y. So how do we solve this one? Here's our variable. So that's what we want to get rid of. So we divide both sides by 3. So 3 cancels out. I bring down my y is equal to 39 divided by 3 is 13. So again, I have my original problem. I'm showing what I'm doing to the problem, and I'm giving my answer. So up to this point, we've done addition, subtraction, and division in solving these problems. So take a moment to copy these down and solve them, please. Pause this if you need more time. So 30 is equal to 6x. I'm going to divide both sides by 6. So 6's cancel out. I have x is equal to 5. B, I have negative 6a is equal to 36. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 6. Don't forget your negative. So a is equal to negative 6. And C, I have negative 9d is equal to negative 72. Divide both sides by negative 9. A negative divided by a negative is a positive, so my answer is going to be positive. So I have D is equal to 8. Be careful, if you get the negative wrong, your answer is wrong. A positive 8 is not the same thing as a negative 8. And we've been dealing with negatives long enough that you have to be able to tell the difference. You have to be able to get the correct answer. So be very careful with that. Copy this down. Layla sent 574 text messages last week. On average, how many messages did she send each day? Okay, pause this if you need more time to copy it down, please. So how many days are there in a week? There's 7. They want to know how many messages did she send each day. Well, we don't know, but it's going to be 7 times a variable. I'm going to use m as my variable for the number of messages. How many messages did she send total after that week? 574. So we're going to divide both sides by 7 to find out how many messages she sent each day. So 574, you can do that by hand or plug that into your calculator, is 82. So she sent 82 messages per day. So there's our answer. Okay, copy this one down and try it on your own. Mrs. Acosta's car can travel an average of 24 miles on each gallon of gasoline. Write and solve an equation to find how many gallons of gasoline she will need for a trip of 348 miles. So pause this and take a moment to copy this down, please. Okay. So her car can travel 24 miles on each gallon of gasoline. I want to know how many gallons that we're going to need. So I'm going to put 24 times G. I'm going to use G to represent the number of gallons, is equal to the total distance that she can drive, 348 miles. So I'm going to divide both sides by 24. Again, I'm showing all 3 steps. So there's my second step. So my third step is G is equal to 348 divided by 24 will give us 14.5 gallons. So there's our final answer. So that was using the division property of equality, when we divide both sides of your equation by the same number. Now we're going to use the multiplication property of equality, where you multiply the same number, or you multiply both sides of your equation by the same number. So I have a over -4 is equal to -9. I'm going to copy this down over here, just so I have a little bit more room. So go ahead and copy that down. Okay, there's something that I say all the time in class. A fraction is another form of a division statement. So when you see fractions, you need to think that's division. So this is a divided by -4. Well, what's the opposite of division? The opposite of division is multiplication. So I need to multiply both sides by -4. This one I set up a little bit differently. I multiply off to the side. You can multiply underneath if you want to, but for me it's easier to see it if I multiply to the side. So those cancel out because that's 4 over 1. That cross reduces, and you're just left with a. So I have a is equal to -9 times -4, a negative times a negative is a positive. So 9 times 4 is 36. So a is equal to 36. So again, I have my original problem, I'm showing what I'm doing to the problem, and I have my answer. So you still need all 3 parts for this. M over 2 is equal to -10. Go ahead and copy this down, please. So I want to get rid of my 2. So m divided by 2, the opposite of division is multiplication, so I multiply both sides by 2. So that cancels out, and I'm left with m is equal to negative 10 times 2 is negative 20. Okay, go ahead and take a moment to copy these down, please. Okay, do your best to solve these using the multiplication property of equality. Okay, so for e, we have y over negative 3 is equal to negative 8. We multiply both sides by negative 3, and we get y is equal to 24. For f, we multiply both sides by 5. We have m over 5 is equal to negative 7. So multiply both sides by 5, and you get m is equal to negative 35. And g, we have 30 is equal to b over negative 6. We multiply both sides by negative 6. So you have negative 6 times 30 is negative 180 is equal to b. Okay, so that's what you should get for your answers. So go ahead and check your answers. Okay, copy this down. The distance d Tina travels in her car while driving 60 miles per hour for 3 hours is given by the equation d over 3 is equal to 60. How far did she travel? So take a moment to copy this down, please. Okay. So they give us our expression. We have d over 3 is equal to 60. So it makes it easy because they give it to us. So this is what we're solving. We multiply both sides by 3 because we want to get rid of that 3. So I end up with d is equal to 60 times 3 is 180. So how far did she travel? She traveled 180 miles. Remember, mi is the abbreviation for miles. Okay, you do the exact same thing here, so copy this down. The distance d that Lee travels on his bike at the rate of 20 miles per hour for 4 hours is given by the equation d over 4 is equal to 20. How far did he ride? So pause this and take a moment to copy this down and solve this on your own, please. Okay, so for this one, again, it gives us our expression. That's always nice, makes it easier. So how do I solve this? I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. So if you see a fraction here, and your variable is inside that fraction, so here it's the numerator of our fraction, then this is really division. So to get rid of division, we need to multiply. So that 4 cancels out. So I have d is equal to 20 times 4 is 80. So how far did he ride? Let's see, we were talking about miles, so he rode 80 miles. Okay, that's it for this lesson.